Okay, everyone, thank you so much for being on tonight's calls, TMZ, Team TNT's team call. And we have a really special guest tonight, my friend Ashley Odenweller. We met on Instagram a couple years ago, randomly, I don't know how, and just have been connected. And she just has such a great story, and she's been so successful, and she's so open about it. And I asked her when we were on the cruise if she would consider doing a call for us, and she so generously said yes. So that is what the deal is. She's going to talk about overcoming objections, which that is such a big deal for all of us. So whether you're live or listening to it on the recording, like it never goes out of style, like learning how to overcome objections and getting past that. So I am going to let Ashley take it. Oh, I want to make one more announcement. This goes 40 minutes, 30 or 40 minutes, we'll get a 10-minute warning, and then Zoom will kick us out. I just signed up for the pay one where you get unlimited time, but it doesn't start till tomorrow. I'm so sorry. So once it clicks off, I'll give you a little warning when the 10 minutes come up. Just sign back in that same link from our Team TNT webpage, okay? That's the last time we'll have to do it like that. All right, I'm going to turn over to Ashley, and I'm going to mute myself.
Well, hey, ladies, I'm excited. I like that it's a small group because I want you to interject when I'm talking to ask questions. So hopefully you two are some chatty people because my team is not chatty and it's like pulling teeth to ask questions. So before I get into my slides, I thought I would share a little bit about myself because, well, you want to know who I am. And if you don't, pretend you do, and my feelings won't be hurt. So I started with Beachbody back in 2012, but I always like to tell my story before Beachbody because I think, and my dog's going to become very present in this call because God forbid he not be in my lap right now. Sorry, dog mom life right now. I was not like, people think like you can only be successful in this business if you had a successful like upbringing or if you had a successful childhood or a good childhood. I had far from that. I grew up with water being turned off probably every month, electricity being turned off, like coming home from school, and I lived in South Florida. If you've ever been there, no electricity and 90-degree weather, like I'm good. No, thank you. And I would come home from school countless times in high school and be like, Mom's like, electricity's off. I'm like, oh, great. I get to do homework by the door today. But that's kind of all I knew. I didn't know like family dinners. I didn't know going to the grocery store and having food in our fridge. My mom thought it was cheaper to eat off McDonald's dollar menu every single night. That's what I knew growing up. So for me, it was a huge thing when I graduated high school. No one really in my family has finished high school or gone to college. I was the first one in my family to get my degree, get a bachelor's degree, and I was the first one in my immediate family to graduate high school, which to me says a lot because of what the rest of my story is about to tell you. I shouldn't have passed high school. I actually failed, but my teacher took pity on me and passed me. So thank you. I appreciate that. I was a college dropout 3 times until I finally finished my degree when I was 24 years old. I haven't even used the darn thing. I would like to return it, but unfortunately it does not work that way. And I cannot just give them back my diploma and they give me back my 60 grand. But Beachbody was introduced by my husband, actually. I was miserable. I was overweight. I started dating him. And like most relationships, I got comfortable. I quit going to the gym. I quit really caring about like what I looked. I was like, I got a guy. Doesn't matter what I look like. Like I'm taken. Yeah, no, doesn't really work that way. But he found Turbo Fire and he's like, babe, I think you'll really like this. He's like, I'll buy it for you. Condition is if you complete it, cool. If you don't, you have to pay me back. It sat there for a year and I never paid him back. But I wasn't ready. Like I wasn't ready to make that commitment. And it was New Year's Eve of 2012. I stepped on the scale and it said 200 pounds. I was like, whoa, buddy. Nope. I am good. Like this is not how I want to be. My husband, boyfriend at the time, had told me during that summer, like, he's like, I'm no longer attracted to you. Not that I don't find you pretty, but you hate yourself. That is unattractive. Like you don't like yourself anymore. So I decided to take a change. And on January 4th of 2012, I committed to my health and fitness goals. I started with Turbo Fire, gave up soda, bought bootleg Shakeology off eBay, got my bootleg Turbo Fire off Amazon, and I finished the entire program and I lost 40 pounds. I felt amazing. I felt good. People were paying attention. And my coach kept nagging me. She's like, be a coach. I was like, I don't have time for that. Like, I'm in my final year of school. I'm good. She nagged me 5 times. I finally said yes to becoming a coach. And it was only because she paid my $40 sign-up fee. I did not have to put any money into it. So I was the coach that did not buy a challenge pack. And we all know when we cringe, when we have those coaches like, I'll just do the $40 incentive fee. It's like, yes, of course you will. Thank you. Thank you very much. But that was who I was. But I ran with it and I was like, I have nothing to lose. I hit the ground running. I started challenge group the very first day I was a coach. I hit Emerald in my first 3 months. I hit Diamond in my first 7 months. I hit Success Club every single month. We bought a brand new car because Beachbody was paying our bills. And then we moved to Rochester, New York. So we were from Columbus. We moved to Rochester and I got a job in retail management. I have a degree in social work and I went into retail management because that's what you do clearly. And it was very demanding. I worked for JCPenney's, which is a huge department store. And I was in charge of visual aids and sales and Black Friday sales and all that stuff. And I got thrown into it right before Black Friday. My business plummeted. I went from Diamond to a very shaky Emerald. I told my coach in January of 2014, I was like, I'm quitting. Like, this isn't working. I have no active coaches. She's like, you drink the Shakeology, get the discount. I was like, fine, whatever. Like, I'll stick it out for another month, but no promises. January 2014, I had 1 Success Club point. February of 2014, I had 87 Success Club points. Yeah, that's usually the face that I get. It's like my favorite reaction. I'm like, I just want to sit here and wait for the reactions. But I took a complete 360 in my business. So I had endometriosis and I had to have surgery for my endometriosis. And I was laid up in bed for 3 weeks. I had to stay out of work longer because of my recovery because I couldn't get better. And the entire time, work was calling me 24/7. I had a boss. My boss had quit. So I was doing my job and her job of the same 2 people. And it was just nonstop. And I was like, this is enough. Like, I can't do this anymore. Like, never saw my husband. We drove home on Christmas Eve, 9 hours, drove home on Christmas Day. So we got to be with our family less than 24 hours because of retail life. So I was like, this is enough. I'm making a change. Beachbody is that change. This is what I love to do. And so I made that change. I made a goal to quit my job by the fall of 2015. I quit my job, not even maybe 7 months later. I quit my job in September of 2014. I started the year in 2014 as a very shaky Emerald. I ended 2014 as a 2-star Diamond Premier coach. So literally in 1 year, my business went from nothing to everything. I am now an 8-star combined Diamond coach. I have 5 CBCs. I've hit Success Club for the last 27 months. I am not a 15-star coach. I will never be a top coach. I will never be a 15-star coach, but I am ranked high in this business. I have my CBCs. I hit my Success Club. My team is doing what they want to do. So I've had success in this business. I have quit my job. My husband has quit his job. We both work from home doing this. So I say that with all of that in my story to show you that I was somebody that almost quit the business. I was failing. I was failing really, really bad. But I made a decision and I put everything into this business and it completely turned around for me. And it's completely changed my life. My husband and I just bought our dream home 5 houses down. Like literally, I can see it outside my window. And that's not something I ever thought we could do, especially like the price we put into a home, which makes me want to have a heart attack every single time I think about it. It's like, but thanks to Beachbody, I could do that. We go on vacations whenever we want. We literally have the lifestyle that we want because I took a leap of faith and I decided to take charge of my business. So if you get anything from that, take charge of your business. But that's not what this call is about. Tonight, I want to talk about objections and overcoming objections because so often I hear people say, I get objections every day. And I'm like, I don't get objections. I don't get price objections. I don't get objections really because I know how to handle the objections. So that's what I'm going to talk about with you guys. So I'm going to do a screen share and I have slides and I love slides. And if you have a question, just put it in the chat box or just interrupt me and say, hey, Ashley, shut up. I have a question. And I do apologize. I'm very sarcastic and I have a tendency to curse. So I will watch it. I will try my best not to let it slip. Like I am unapologetically me. So objections. An objection is not a rejection. It's simply a request for more information. How many of us said no to coaching before we actually signed up? Or I mean, unless you were that like person who's like, yes, sign me up. I don't need any more information, Wendy. Like, I am game. No, chances are you said no like 20 times, like I did. And that's why I always tell my team, I said no 5 times. And I'm now a 6-figure earner in this business. And I said no 5 times. So an objection is not a rejection. It's simply asking for more information. So why do we get objections? We get objections because it's a fear. It's a fear of the unknown. there's like this like really shady, whatever reasoning of looks of like MLMs, like, oh, you're a pyramid schemer. Oh, you do this. Or, oh yeah, I've heard of you. You sell wraps. I'm like, no, 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 no. You have the wrong company. That is not us. Like, calm down. But objections are a fear of the unknown. But guess what? There's an answer to every objection that you get. But it's up to you to handle that objection. So if you're talking to somebody and like, you know what, I really want to do this, just now's not a good time. If you reply back, okay, I understand. Get with me when you're ready. You are solidifying, I don't know if that's the right word. We're going to go with it. Their objection. You are giving them permission to use that objection from going from something after what they want. So what I am here to help is hopefully by the end of this call, you no longer say, okay, let me know when you're ready. I never want to hear those phrases come out of your mouth or into a chat after this call. And not that I will ever know, but you're just going to pretend that you're going to agree to it. So how you handle these objections with your prospect is how they're going to reply back. So if somebody says, I really want to do this, I'm just super scared of the financial like commitment right now, let me get back to you. And you say, okay, sounds good. Guess what? They're never going to come back to you. They're not going to, because you didn't answer that fear. You didn't answer that objection or anything like that. Sorry, I have an Apple Watch and it's really it takes my time away. So I'm going to take it off because I'm going to look at it every time it vibrates. It drives me nuts. Let's see, I lost my train of thought. But so you have to handle those objections in a different way. If you want somebody to commit to this business with you, if you want somebody to commit to their health and fitness goals, you have to handle that objection correctly. If you're willing to put the first and Wendy, do you mind muting the phone caller for me just because there'll be some background noise? If you're willing to put the first and first, set aside the Success Club points, set aside the need for a coach that you need to rank up. If you can put them first, find out what they're going through, you will have less and less objections. I kid you not. I do not get money objections. And I know probably everybody wants to strangle me on this call because that's probably all you get. I don't get money objections. When I tell somebody the price of a challenge pack, I never get, oh my gosh, that's awful, because of the way that I handle them. And the other thing is I'm going to also talk to you guys about is answering objections through your posts. And I know this was on a national wake-up call, and I don't remember who talked about it, but you have to answer objections through your posts. I talk about money objections in my posts. I talk about time objections in my posts. I talk about commitment time, like in my posts. Guess what? I don't get those objections because I'm already talking about them and I'm letting those fears no longer be a part of their daily life. So let's talk about what objections are and what objections aren't. Objections are not a final answer. They're not a final no, and they're not a reason to get nervous. How many times do we invite somebody to the business, they give us an objection, we get all sweaty, our palms get sweaty, and we don't know what to do. And we're like, this is awful. Like, I thought she wanted to do this. We freak out. We revert back inside and we kind of walk away from the conversation. When that could have been a life, a story, somebody's story that you're holding hostage instead of answering that objection. So objections are a lack of trust. They may not know who you are. They may not be following your posts. They may not see you in their newsfeed. They may just think you're trying to make a quick sale. So you've got to gain their trust. They're a lack of knowledge. They don't know anything about Beachbody. They might have heard that shake stuff and they probably heard it on Dr. Oz and it had lead or something like 5 years ago, but they don't know anything else from it now. So you got to inform them about what Beachbody is. It's a fear. People don't like to walk into things that they don't know. How many of us would start a new job without even knowing what we're doing? Chances are we wouldn't. So we got to let that fear go. And they're just a speed bump in the road if you let them be a speed bump. Don't let them halt you. Just let them be a minor speed bump where it slows you down, you handle it, and you keep going. And so I haven't looked at these slides in a while, so I apologize. And I can't find my notes, so I'm totally just winging this. So there are good and bad ways when it comes to objections. A lot of us probably get really defensive when we get objections. Like if somebody says, oh, that's a pyramid scheme. We're like, no, it's not. Do you even know? Have you even done your research? Do you know it's a pyramid scheme? You probably work for a pyramid scheme. Like that's probably our initial reaction. It's like, whoa, let's hold the brakes. Let's not get defensive. Let's not attack. Let's just educate them. When I get people that is like, this is a pyramid scheme, I'm like, where do you work? Oh, I work for AT&T. Oh, by the way, that's a pyramid scheme. Guess what? Your boss makes more than you. Their boss makes more than you, and so on. And you'll never make more than your boss. And they're like, oh, like, yeah. You have no confidence. Like, that's kind of like what we get when we get an objection. We're like, oh, I don't know how to answer this. So we kind of like think badly about ourselves. We're like, man, maybe I'm not a good coach. Maybe I need to learn more. Instead, sometimes we explain the facts and we're convincing them to join, or we say, just let me know. Just let me know when you're ready. Just let me know when it's a good time. Just let me know when you can afford it. Instead, you should be validating and overcoming those objections. You should be like saying like, you know what? So if you get somebody's like, I don't have a lot of time, I always say, you know what? I completely understand, and I felt the same exact way. When I started this business, and this is a true story, I was getting married. I was in my final year of college. I was taking 6 classes. I was working 40 hours a week. I had a 20-hour internship and a 2-hour commute 5 days a week. But I still made this business work because it revolved around my schedule. So I totally know what you mean, but I'm here to help you along the way. I just validated that objection for them. That sounds so much better than being defensive, like, oh, you can make this time. It's your business. You got this. Like, I validated that objection. You have to be confident in your replies. I don't care if you really don't know what acai berry is or super alkaline and Shakeology. Act like you know what it is. Pretend to have that confidence. No one knows besides you. You have to have that confidence. Use your own story. The power of your story is what builds your business. We all have a story. Some may have a really, really deep story, like myself. Like I could probably talk about my story for 5 hours with you guys. And some may be like, man, my story is not that deep. It doesn't matter. Your story is still your story. And that's how you use it to overcome objections. And of course, asking questions. Always asking questions. So when someone says, I don't have time for that, well, tell me what your life's like right now. Like, do you wish you had a couple more minutes during the day to spend with your kids? Or are you kind of just getting home and like plopping around the TV? Or what's keeping you so busy? Or if they're like, well, I don't want another protein shake. Well, have you learned about Shakeology? It's actually not a protein shake. Can you tell me what protein shakes you've tried? You're asking them questions, which is going to validate those objections in the end. So what are some most common objections we get? Price, time, pyramid scheme. I don't like sales. Guess what? I don't like sales either. I'm not fit enough. Guess what? I gained 30 pounds this year and I am like the least fit person right now, but I'm still rocking my business. My spouse doesn't support me. Guess what? My husband was super skeptical when I got started, and now he sits across me every single day in my desk because I did get started. Mom guilt. I get that a lot from my team. My entire team is full of moms, and I have a very hard time relating to them because my child is a dog and I can just put him in his bed and call it a day. So I get some people that are like, I want to do this, but I don't want to take time away from my kid. So I'm going to go over these objections with you, give you some ways to handle these objections and whatnot. So the first one is price. Like I said, I don't get the price objection. I don't know if it's because I just handle myself really well or if it's because I handle myself like in my post, but I don't get them. So most common, it's, I want to do this, but it's too expensive. So we usually reply, I don't know what that is. Wendy, will you mute that? Like, I think it's just someone on a phone. It echoes sometimes on Zoom. Zoom gets really weird sometimes.
Sorry, it was me. I was transferring from my phone to the computer.
Oh, no, you're fine, girl. Zoom's weird. It sounds like an alien sometimes. You're good. So when we get a price objection, we often say, I understand. If anything changes, let me know. How many of us have done this? I can only see 3 of you on my screen. So hopefully the 3 of you raise your hand and be like, I've done this. Yeah. See? Okay. That's not how we want to answer objections. Or, okay, let's stay in touch. Girlfriend ain't going to stay in touch with you. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. She's not going to stay in touch with you. Like, newsflash, it's not going to happen. This is not how you answer an objection. These should not be the way you do it because guess what? A, it validates their fear. It validates their reasoning for not joining. B, it almost makes it seem like you really weren't interested in them joining your team and you were just looking for another body. And C, I don't have a C. We're going to go with it. So instead, how would you answer this objection? These are 2 of my answers to objections. I completely understand how you feel. When I first heard the price, I felt the same way. But what I found was that spending money on other items wasn't helping me reach my goals. I'll often say to people, do you drink Starbucks every day? I had actually somebody the other day was like, I have tropical smoothie every day. And I'm like, oh, isn't that like $5 smoothie? She's like, oh, it's $8 a smoothie. I was like, oh, Shakeology is $4.33 and you get a lot more in your Shakeology. And she's like, oh, but I still can't afford that. I'm like, okay, sure. Like, I can't handle this one because you can't, like, no, but cool. But you have to explain to them. You have to be like, so when I have people that say like, yeah, I drink Starbucks daily, I'm like, you're probably spending $25 to $30 a week. You can spend $100 a month on Shakeology, and that Shakeology is going to get you a lot more further than that 43 grams of sugar in that Starbucks drink. People are like, oh, I get what you mean. Or if I have somebody that really wants to purchase it, and they're like, I really want this, but I can't afford it. I said, how about, and I always say, I challenge you for the next 2 weeks. I want you to stop at every single purchase that will not help you reach your health and fitness goals and say, does this get me further in life? Does this help me reach my fitness goals? Does this make me feel better about myself? And when you answer no, you're going to write down how much it is, and you're going to add up what you saved in that 2 weeks. 9 out of 10 times that I do this, guess what? They're buying Shakeology in a program 2 weeks later because it's like a light bulb inside their head. Another way is breaking down the value of the cost. How often do we tell somebody the price of a challenge pack and we want to run the other way because we know that they're going to be like, 160, girlfriend, you're nuts. Like, that's probably what we think every time. So I don't just tell them the price. I tell them what they're going to get. So this is generally what I would say. On number 10, we're going to talking about the 21-day fix. You're in luck. This month, that program is on special. It's $140. It includes the workouts, a meal plan, portion control containers, streaming workouts for 30 days, a challenge group, one-on-one support, 30 meals, and you can become a coach totally for free. It's a killer deal this month, and it would save you so much money. I just told them everything that came with that challenge pack, and that shows them the value of what they're getting. They're not just getting a workout and drinks. They're getting our support. They're getting our challenge groups. They're getting the streaming. They're getting a meal plan. Like, that helps answer objections about prices when you would break it down and you explain it. Let's talk about time. This is my favorite one. Like, I feel really bad for my team because I don't take time excuses very well. Like, I just think my team hates me sometimes. So again, I really want to do this, but I'm so busy. I have a part-time job. I'm like, okay, well, we usually say, okay, well, if anything changes, message me. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear. Thanks for thinking about it. Guess what? They're not going to come back. Never, ever, ever, ever again. They're not going to come back. This has a lot of words on this slide. I'm so sorry. So this has a lot of words. So here's one example of something you can reply. And I always like to read out the words just in case I do have phone callers on. And this is like this is me telling my story. I felt the same exact way. In fact, it was my biggest reason for not setting up. And you already heard all this stuff, so I'm not going to repeat it back to you. But so when I was watching TV, I worked the business. When I had a lunch break, I worked the business. When I had an extra 15, 20 minutes, I worked the business. Guess what? I probably answered you while I was going to the bathroom because that's when I worked the business. And don't try to deny we don't do that. We all do it. Come on now. And now I'm working from home by fitting it in whenever I could. And it's true. This business came at the most inconvenient time in my life. I would be driving home at 2:00 in the morning because I was a server and we closed the doors at 1:00 in the morning. So I'd be driving home at 2, get home at 3 a.m. I would be up from 3 a.m. to 4 a.m. going through my challenge groups, answering my coaches, sending invites. So that way when I woke up at 11:00 in the afternoon the next day, my invites were ready to go and people thought I was nuts because I was messaging them at 4:00 in the morning. Or I would be that really bad person where I'm reading my phone while I'm driving on the road for an hour because it was really lonely. I fit this in when I could. And now my husband and I can go shopping during the middle of the day. We can go to lunch whenever we want. We can just stop what we're doing to go for a hike because I worked it when I could. So that's my story. So you have to relate back to them. My favorite, tell me more about what's going on. What makes your life so hectic? Some people may really hate this and really think I'm a smartass when I ask that. But really, are you busy? Are you really busy? My favorite one, and I'm probably going to offend somebody that's a stay-at-home mom, and I'm really, really sorry, is when a stay-at-home mom tells me I'm really busy. I get it. Stay-at-home mom is a lot of work. Like, I'm not putting down stay-at-home moms. But your kids nap. So when your kids are napping, you can work your business. When you have to sneak in for a 5-minute toilet break, you can work your business. And I often tell my team, like, talk to your spouse, set up an arrangement that when your husband comes home from work, you get 1 hour to work your business. So ask people what makes their life so hectic. A lot of times people think they're busy, but they're really not busy. If you have an hour to watch Grey's Anatomy or Scandal, your life is not busy. It's the truth. My team hates me for that too, because our team calls it during Scandal. And then the last one, do you think you could find 30 minutes a day? So when people say I'm too busy to work out, is basically them telling me they don't really care about their health and fitness goals and they don't think they're worth it. Everybody has 30 minutes in their day to work out, and it's actually 22 minutes right now, and Tony will kick your ass in 22 minutes. We all have that time, whether you get up earlier or you go to bed earlier. I am not a morning person. I like to wake up at 9:30 in the morning, and I'm getting up every day at 7, so I become a morning person. But relate that back to people and say, do you have an extra 30 minutes a day? Because honestly, that's all you need. That's all you need for an effective workout. Crazy, right? And then I go on to say how many hours I spend at the gym. You have to answer these objections is basically what I'm trying to tell you guys. Like you can't validate their fears. The other one was my favorite, Shakeology. I can get that at Walmart. My face usually goes, no, you can't. No, you can't. It's whatever's the new one at Walmart, just like Shakeology. I'm like, no, you're not. Like, nice try. Or it's too expensive. I already drink a protein shake, which is also my least favorite one. Or I've tried that before. I didn't like it. So how do we answer these? Oh, we don't answer these. I'm going to tell you how we answer these. Okay. So when somebody's like, I can get that from Walmart, be like, you know what? You can get a shake from Walmart, but it's cheaper for a reason. Look at the ingredients. I never bash products. I am not in the business to knowing what's an Advocare. I'm not in the business knowing it's Herbalife or any of those other shakes because I frankly don't care to know. But I always say, you know what? I know nothing about that other product, but I really want you to take a look at the ingredients. Not the sugar content, not the protein content, not the carb content. I want you to look at the ingredients. If you don't know what the first 5 ingredients are and they sound really funky, chances are it's not good for you. And it's true. How many times do we get, well, Advocare is cheaper. Well, Advocare has artificial sweeteners and artificial crap. Or Body by V. Well, Body by V has soy. I come in contact with a lot of people with PCOS and endometriosis because that's what I have. Guess what? We can't have soy. So I can really talk about the benefits of Shakeology. It's too expensive. And it goes back to that pricing where you kind of have to like find out what are they spending their money on. My favorite, I already drink a protein shake. That's great. Guess what? You can add Shakeology into your protein shake. People have this misconception that protein shake's a meal replacement. It's not. And it's actually really not good for you to have for a meal because you don't get the nutrients and the vitamins that you need. So you let them know. Or I've tried it before. I didn't like it. How did you try it? Did you mix it with 8 ounces of water? Did you mix it like the packet told you? Because if you did, I don't blame you because I don't like it that way either. Did you add ice to it? Did you try it with almond milk? Are you willing to try it for 30 days? And if you don't like it after 30 days, guess what? You can send the bag back completely for free and you can get your money back. But I guarantee you, I'll find you a recipe that you like. I had a coach that was adamant about not signing back up because she didn't like Shakeology. She's like, I don't like it. It's disgusting. I was like, I get that. But can you just trust me for 30 days? Guess what? She's hooked. She loves it. And she found a recipe she liked. So when people tell me they don't like it, I'm like, well, you just tried a really bad recipe because it's delicious. I'm not good enough. We get that a lot. I haven't lost enough weight to be a coach. This is probably the biggest one that I get right now. And I think it's because like we have this, sorry, I have to take a quick drink. We have this like image in our head that we have to be the fittest. We have to be a size 2. I could you not. I look at Wendy's post every day and I'm like, damn it, Wendy, I hate you because you have my dream body. Or we have this thought like we have to weigh 120 pounds. We have to be ripped. We have to be muscles. I've lost 50 pounds with this business. I was at my lowest at 145 and I'm now teetering at 180. Does that make me a bad coach? Nope. It makes me human. It means that I am suffering with my autoimmune disease and I'm trying to figure out my life. And I'm also about to turn 30 and my body's saying, F you, welcome to the 30s. So you got to stop that objection. That's why like I did a transformation Tuesday and it was when I was at my lowest weight to now. It was like the opposite of a transformation. Guess what? I got so much support behind that post and I signed up 4 coaches from that post because they believed that they could be a good coach because they knew that they did not have to be at a goal weight. That's what stopped me for an entire year from joining this business. I wasn't at my goal weight. Guess what? I've never reached my goal weight. And I never will. And I'm okay with that because I'm happy with who I am and where I am. My favorite, I'm not a salesperson. I usually probably, well, good. Either am I. I don't like salespeople. This isn't about the sales. You guys know this. This is a relationship business. It's about changing lives. And we just have to validate that to people that like Beachbody doesn't have a quota. I never tell people like you have to have 50 PV to be active, because I could care less if a coach goes from active to inactive because they can't afford Shakeology. As long as they're taking care of themselves, they're running accountability groups, and they're just doing their workouts, then I'm happy to have them on my team. Or I don't know a lot of people. So when I got started, I had 400 friends on Facebook. I now have 3,000 friends on Facebook, 5,000 followers on my Facebook like page, 28,000 followers on one Instagram account, 22,000 followers on another Instagram account, and 350 followers on Snapchat. That's a whole lot of people that I'm now in contact with. And guess what? I was at 0 with all of those when I got started, minus Facebook. My team, 90% of my team came from social media. I know probably in real life 3 of the coaches on my team. I have 100 personally sponsored coaches, maybe 120 at this point. I haven't counted in a while. I didn't know any of them. I knew 2, maybe 3 at the most. I found them on social media. So when people say, I don't know a lot of people, I say, good, either did I. But now I know a whole lot of people because I expanded my network and I shared my story. So what you need to remember is the key to respond to a question is to get more clarification. I'm too busy. Tell me, what's making life so hectic right now? Is like your job just really demanding? Is your husband working late hours? Like, what's going on? Or I really want to do this, but I'm afraid of the price. Okay, so tell me a little bit more. Do you eat out a lot? Like, do you grab Starbucks maybe once or twice a week? How often do you eat out for lunch? Or I'm not at my goal weight. Okay, well, would accountability really help you? Like, would that help you succeed more in life? Like, not life, that's a really bad word. Succeed more with your health and fitness goals. You have to get more clarification. If you get an objection, don't jump to respond with, I can't see my word after with. So we're going to exit out the big screen because like without truly understanding the real issue, you have to understand what's going down deep down inside. Like I said, objections are fears. When you ask questions for a clarification, it shows you care and you're sincere in wanting to offer the correct situation. Beachbody may not be for everybody. I cannot tell you how many conversations I've had and I got to end and I'm like, you know what? This probably isn't right for you, but that's okay because I'm going to help you reach your health and fitness goals anyways. But coaching, it may not be the right thing for you, but you don't know that until you clarify some of those questions and those objections. Always remember that intent counts more than the technique. The more you help others succeed, the more likely you will be to succeed. I don't know how you guys run your team or your challenge groups. Like for me, I preach to my team, our challenge groups are always free. I have never ran a paid challenge group a day in my life. I do not require a purchase to join my challenge group. And I've been running them for 37 months, however long it's been. I've built a lot of relationships. I've built a lot of trust. A girl that joined my first challenge group 3 years ago just signed up to become a coach and hit Emerald this week because I built trust with her and because she got to know who I was and I helped her reach her goals without ever saying, you need to buy this. Now, I'm not saying if you run a paid challenge group, that's totally okay. But this business is about helping others no matter what. So choose your words and deliver your words with good intent. Words go a very long way and they leave a lot of impact on somebody. Like sometimes I say things that I shouldn't say and my team's like, Ashley, check yourself. I'm like, ooh, okay, just kidding. I'm so sorry. So you really got to watch what you say and let your technique develop. You guys are going to find what works for you. You're going to find that certain like scripts or certain phrases or certain ways you respond don't work, and that's okay as long as you grow from the way that you're answering objections. So that is my spiel on objections. Does anybody have any questions? Anything that they want to add? I got through that quicker than I thought I would.
That was so good. Does anybody have any questions?
Don't make me start singing Backstreet Boys at you, y'all.
What's that? I
said, don't make me start singing Backstreet Boys at y'all for not talking.
What about like aha moments? I'll tell you what I really liked. I liked when you talked about like the shakes. It's not a protein shake. This isn't just that. But I liked when you said, well, why do you think it's cheaper? Like just asking that question, like in a genuine way, not being a jerk. And then I love that you said if you can't pronounce the first 5 ingredients, then they're probably not good for you. That's just like I've never heard that. Like I think that's so genius because.
And it's because people so often just want to focus on, I don't know why Zoom wants me to leave this, wants to focus on, well, it has 10 grams of carbs, but Slim Fast has 6. Well, Slim Fast has 33 grams of sugar and is loaded with a whole bunch of shit. Like, people want to focus on the numbers and not focus on the nutrients. And that's like a big deal for me.
Right.
Okay, I have a quick question too. Okay, so you were saying like you don't ever get objections. So you're able to keep your conversation going to the point where you end it with them joining you somehow, some way, whatever, all the time? Like, okay, because here's my question with, like you're saying with the objection with like the whole like comparing it to Shakeology. I have a girl right now that's telling me that I got that same stuff at Walmart, and I said to her, I said, are you like, what, you've got Shakeology at Walmart? You know, are really, like, this is interesting to me. I didn't know that you could buy it at Walmart, which I knew you couldn't, but you know, I just wanted to ask her, you know, like, and I said, well, can you show it to me? Like, take a picture of it. Let me see the ingredients. Like, I just wanted her to like clarify to me that she actually had this shake that she swore she got at Walmart that was called Shakeology. She told me it was actually called Shakeology. Have you seen that? Have you seen that stuff from Shakeology? And it actually says like compare. It says okay, so I've seen it, but I didn't want to tell her I've seen it. Like, I wanted her to like tell me. So anyways, she goes, oh, well, I'll get back to you tomorrow with that because I'm already in bed. And so how do you like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to prove her wrong, but like at the same time, I kind of am.
There's some battles that just aren't worth fighting for. Not saying I don't get objections. I don't want to sound like I'm a superhero and that everybody's like, Ashley, I hate you because why don't you get objections? Because I do. I do get objections, but it's just the way you handle it. And there's some battles I choose not to fight. So if someone's like, well, I can drink this and this is so much better for me. And even if I've shown them like, it has it has like an artificial sweetener and it has soy and it has all this stuff you don't have, and they still are determined that what they're doing is better, fine. Guess what? You're going to prove them wrong by your actions, by sharing your Shakeology post, and not just you kissing your cup. If you kiss your cup, quit doing that. It's a very great tip I learned from Fit and Funky at our retreat. But just sharing. Maybe doing like a spotlight ingredient once a week and be like, this is what Shakeology is. Like, it's so much more than a shake. Like, it gives me my superfoods and my nutrients and my vitamins. I don't know if I answered your question.
No, that's perfect. I like how you said that, like, just like doing like publicly, like showing her that like my shake actually has this in it.
And that's exactly what it's about.
Not calling her out at all, but she's going to see it.
Exactly. And guess what? Chances are she's going to come back to you. She's going to be like, you were right. I had somebody that got the 21-day fix. And I was like, you should really pair it with Shakeology. Like, I swear by Shakeology, everybody should drink it. She's like, I have Herbalife. And I'm like, okay, well, if you change your mind, let me know. She got her 21-day fix and she's like, oh, I should have got, am I fuzzy?
It was okay.
Because of my I don't know what's going on. But she got Shakeology. She was like, I need that. And I was like, yeah, I told you. And now you have to spend an extra $40 because you did not save money. So show them by your posts. Show them by your actions, because that's what people are going to see. I've been coaching for 3 years now, and I just have people coming out of the woodworks. And I'm like, where were you 3 years ago when I started? And it's because they weren't ready. They weren't ready, and they wanted to take the cheap way out and think they could reach their health and fitness goals, and they couldn't.
I think something, you talked about, Ashley, not having the price objection. I think that's something that comes with confidence as you kind of move through the business and how you do portray yourself on social media, because I don't either. And I bet you don't either, Tammy. I bet you very rarely have a price objection. Like, because one, we're consistent, right? They know this is our life. We do this all day, every day for 3 years. All of us are about the same, about 3 years, and they see like our results, they see our challengers' results, they see, even if we have ups and downs, but they see us being real about it, and we're sticking to what we're saying we're doing. We're walking the walk. And so I think that that's something, and I'm mentioning this because if newer coaches are going to watch this and they're like, well, I have price objections, like, am I a bad coach or anything like that? I just want people to know, like, I think when we start out, most of us do, but as you develop that confidence, the sooner you can get confident in what we have to offer and the tools, which is why you have to get results. Like whatever that means, whether it's just like depression because you're exercising and you're eating right, or if it's diminishing cravings, or you have more energy, or if it is weight loss, or if it is being able to do pull-ups, some kind of progress. When people see that, they're like, well, I want to do what you're doing because you're having success in one realm or the other. So I just wanted to throw that out because I feel like that's probably why you're not having objections, because you're confident you address the objections right in the post, right? Is that fair to say?
And that's true. When I first started, I got rejections all the time. I got objections. I was like, okay, that's cool. Like, let me know. And that's why I wasn't successful. That's why my team quit very quickly. And that's why I quit hitting Success Club. But until I got confident in myself and I really just trusted what I was saying, then I quit getting them. And the more I posted about it and the more I shared my story, like, they just kind of stopped. And now, don't get me wrong, I do get objections, but I'm also probably not your typical coach. Like, I don't have time to ask you how your kids are or how the weather is. Like, I've got goals, and unfortunately that means that I mass invite and I just get straight to the point. So sometimes when I do get objections, I'm like, you know what? That's fine. I answer your objection. The ball is then in their court. I'm not going to chase after people. And that's like another thing that has nothing to do with objections. Don't chase after people. It's not worth your time. It's really not. That's just a little tidbit I wanted to add in. But yeah, confidence. That's where it comes from, is confidence.
Yeah, I'd say like the most I get like price objection wise is just like, okay, I don't get paid till Friday, so get back with me on Friday, and that's not even an objection at this point. It's just, but it's all, and some of these people are people that I have talked to for years. And so they kind of already know the price at this point. We've talked about that in the past. And so now they're just ready. I think sometimes price objections too are the people just telling you basically they're not ready.
Yeah. And it's the easiest way out. They can be like, they can afford it. You see them buying their Coach bags and going to Disney World. I mean, like, you can afford this, but they're not ready to make that investment in themselves. And I think something I've learned along the way is you can't force people to be like, to jump in this. You can't force people to be on their journey. I've been over 30 pounds for the last year and I haven't been ready. And then something kicked my ass on Monday and now I'm getting up every morning running and hating my life. But I wasn't ready to make that leap. I wasn't ready to do it yet. And now I am. And it's the same way with other people. We can't force them into this. We almost just have to sit around and wait till they're ready. And it comes with their coaches. Like, I don't know like what your teams are like and how many coaches you guys have, what ranks you are. But often we get coaches that join our team. They're like, I'm in this. I want to do this. And you're like, yes. And then they do nothing. And it's like, what happened to your why? And then out of nowhere, Julie's like, me. And then out of nowhere, they're like, okay, I'm in. And it's not because we nagged them. It's just they really weren't ready to take that leap of faith. They weren't ready to do it. So it's a big part of it is they're not ready.
I signed up in 2010 and I started working my business in 2013. Like, so I was like a nightmare coach.
For a while.
Yeah, I'd ask my coach questions and then I'd never do what she told me to do. And then I'd like wait a few months and then I'm like, maybe I should try this. And then I just never did. And then finally it clicked for me in 2013. And that's when like everything changed. But yeah, I wasn't ready to commit to it, to do it.
What team are you a part of? Are you part of Platinum Presenters, Bombshell?
Team Hardcore, Janelle's.
I'm so jealous.
Janelle, who's your upline?
No one.
No one? Who do you like? Do you collaborate a lot? Like, what do you need?
I collaborate with
some for everyone. Huh?
Yeah, I collaborate with some other coaches. So we're a part of Tracy Morrow's downline. So we really don't have solid, like if I go to somebody, I'm like, are you Platinum Presenters or Bombshell? And if they say neither, then I know they're with Tracy. Like, we don't have that like solid team like the other ones do. But my upline is just a coach. She's not an Emerald or anything. So gotcha. I just collaborate with others.
Yeah. Well, I think that just goes to show you, like, you've got to own your life, right? You've got to own your business and, like, take charge. There's tons of resources out there. So I think that's just a testament to, like, coaches who might be like, well, my upline doesn't do this for me or they don't do this. It's like, mine does. And I love my coach, but she's just in and out a little bit, she's got stuff going on. Like, I don't fault her for that at all, but it's like, when I decided in 2013 I was going to go for it, like I just started going after it myself. I know where the Coach Online office is. I, started talking to people or whatever. And I just think that's another great part of your story then.
Yeah. It takes a lot, and I'm totally getting off topic here, and I'm so
That's
sorry.
okay. We can just chat now.
I think Zoom gave you your permission to go longer.
Maybe they did. I keep waiting to get cut off.
And you guys obviously have
recording, or should I keep recording?
You can stop recording.
Okay, let me stop. Okay, cut.